Okie dokie, YouTube. It has been a while since we have made a video. Main part of this is stuff going on in life with me and Matt. We were going to be doing just a simple little video here. My truck doing some tailgate stuff to it and everything else like that, but it's in its natural habitat. Hood up. That is because... let's see if we can see down here. Obviously, you can already see a little bit dripping there. Probably can't see too much up that way. But I have a lovely coolant leak. And it's not in a hose. It's the water pump. So, over the span of probably 2 days, later on today, I'm going to get to taking off the shroud, ring belt off, everything that I can out of the way, basically, except for the water pump itself. I might take that off just to get whatever fluids in the block out, just so it doesn't freeze, because this was sitting at my work since Friday night. That's when I first noticed it, when I backed into the parking spot and had this nice sweet aroma. If you've ever noticed vapors or anything else like that, or smoke coming out from your engine, if it smells sweet, coolant. Gonna be doing some fun stuff here. Ordered the parts for it. Never replaced a water pump on a vehicle before, so this will be a first. Never really dug into this engine too much either. It's been in the shop for a starter when it went out on me when I had my kid with me recently. And kids aren't very patient with working on vehicles in parking lots, so just got it towed to a shop. It needed to be inspected the next day. And turned out when it was inspected, 2 of my leaf springs were cracked. Of course, one was on the front, one was on the back. So that was about $2,500 there. And then there's another $600 or so for the starter, which is an upgraded starter. It's a 6.4 starter, so it's much faster. So blessing in disguise, I guess. But anywho, this is just an intro. I'm without Matt for right now. But yeah, join along on this wonderful little journey that I've got here. Oh, also, the degas bottle, we will be replacing that. Because while looking where the coolant leak is, some of the, we'll get better at this later, some of the common points for it to crack the degas bottle is right down here, stress fractures, which it has some. So I noticed that, so I'm going to replace that with a aluminum one. And also this main coolant here, I'm replacing that. New cap. I may do a new belt, depending on how this goes. But anywho, have fun with us. We certainly do. Alrighty, update. We are currently draining coolant from this nice little peacock I got here. As you can tell, everything is covered in coolant. So I'm just going to continue letting this drain. Next step will be taking this air box out. After the air box, then I'll probably wait for Matt to get here to help with the radiator. And hopefully that should definitely be cooled and stuff by now. We'll let you know. Thanks for having fun with us. Alrighty, YouTube. So, this is going to be probably a mishmash of different videos, because Matt and I have been super busy, so none of the GoPros or batteries are charged up. But I'll take on the truck. We were both super tired from work last night, so didn't even do anything besides letting it drain out, which it's right here. It'd be bad if I dropped my phone in there. Obviously, it's a little diluted, a little orange. Not truly 100% sure the color of what the ELC is like when the dealership last put the stuff in, but I've got some new shell Rotella concentrate coming in today. I'll be picking up the water pump after I get off work this morning. But I'm just going to try and get the air box off. And then I'm going to prop something up here so I can get a good look and see. This external oil cooler looks like it might be in the way of me pulling this shroud out. So we'll see if I have to pull that off and move it around a little bit here. But after draining the radiator, I don't have anything leaking out of the water pump, which is nice because my water pump was just leaking all over the work parking lot. Let me get some stuff maneuvered around here to stand on because it's just pretty decent off the ground. But like, it's a pain to work if you're short and tubby like me. Next thing will be taking off the air box, which on a 304 you want to take this clamp off, remove this hose, the second band in there you want to remove, then you can pull from there and just take the whole air box out. If you take this dipstick off, as you can see, this dipstick's broken because it's probably happened before, so I didn't take the dipstick out. When you remove the air box, you break that off like that. So maybe I'll get a new air box at some point. But anywho, so it'll be remove this hose, remove that worm gear clamp, and then sort of pivot this out. Okie dokie. Got the air box out. I did pretty much everything exactly how I told you. There's one other thing. There's a plug on this that I took off. That is clamped to the dipstick out, and then there is a little air, like a vacuum / boost meter. I'm not entirely sure what that is. I'll figure it out later. But it's another sensor, and it's plugged into the back. And with that, you can either like spray a little WD-40 on it, or I just worked it out slowly, wiggling it. Don't try to rip it out too quick. You might bust this garment. Now, one thing I'm going to address that you'll see here as well is, oh, look, see, that happened. So this is actually the important part of the airbox. This is where you have the seal back to the turbo that you want sealed because you don't want any air going around it. But as you can see, it literally just fell off there. There is only one clip on there, which is not good. You want at least the second one. You have to get a nice, good seal. So that might have something to do with my boost pressure not always reading. Be back. Okay, she's actually decent, a bit dirty. I think I might get a replacement filter while I am picking up the water pump. I ordered 4 of these clips just because you want to have them. At the very least, I'm going to pull this one off the front and put it on the back here so I have a nice good seal going back to the turbo. Ooh, drink. So when you remove that air box, you do get a better view of stuff in the engine bay. So I pulled the oil dipstick out. As you can see, this was the sensor I pulled off, and this was that back like air pressure air filter restriction gauge. Okay, so that does that. Let's take a look at the turbo. Turbo actually doesn't look that bad, considering I'm pretty sure it's stock turbo. So now, next step is going to be pulling well, woohoo, look, it's step done. No, it's going to be pulling this out, which, from my understanding, not gonna lie, I watched a Diesel Tech Ron video for this, so I'll be loosening these radiator mount bolts. I'll throw this positive cable up over the top, and I'll probably disconnect one of the terminals just because, you know, working on an engine, probably shouldn't have too much live electricity around, even though I'm not soaked in flammable materials. But anyways, so pull these bolts off, and then you should be able to pull the radiator back a little bit. Don't have too much room, but you should have enough room to move it around and get this out. Then after that, the next step will be to start working on getting, I don't know if you could see or not. That is our goal. So that's the electric fan clutch. And behind that is the water pump, which is where all the fun stuff is leaking out. Okie dokie, update. As you can see, to tilt this back, had to pull off the upper rad hose, which I'm going to replace anyways, because I'm going to replace the thermostat while I'm doing that, which is right down there. And then I disconnected this, just the degas bottle as well. I've just got everything all loosely tied up in here now, because I'm pretty much done for the night at this point. I'll be waiting for a little extra help tomorrow, but I'm going to pick up all the other parts that I need in the morning. But anywho, this actually wasn't too much of a problem when I was pulling the outer shroud off. So we'll see how everything goes. But we'll keep you up to date. Like I said, I've got a long list of parts that I'm replacing. All in all, this foray into just doing the water pump has turned much more expensive than initially planned. This water pump itself is like $250. Everyone's gonna be like, well, why didn't you go with the bulletproof? I say everyone, but there's like 20 people on the channel right now. But anywho, I didn't go with the bulletproof water pump strictly because I'm going to be doing a motor build later on, probably about 2-3 years. I just don't see the point in dropping $600 on a water pump right now when I'm planning on possibly selling that engine after I drop the new motor in. But yeah, so
here we are back the next morning, and Jarret is super happy.
Loving life.
As he, I guess, discussed with you guys yesterday, he's swapping out the clamps on his airbox with something a little stronger to give it a little better seal, plus it's not nearly as worn out.
Not a little stronger, it's the same strength. It's the exact same thing.
Just not wore out.
Yeah.
It looks like some of the parts that Jarret was thinking were going to come in today are not going to come in until a future date.
Well, the one still says it's going to be delivered today by Amazon. The coolant has shipped. It's the lower overflow hose for the. It's this lower hose.
Okay, so just that little like what?
No, it comes down and goes all the way in.
Okay,
down towards the top of the water pump.
Okay.
The main thing is I'm just getting the air box done right now. Those clamps. I'm going to take the old air filter out, put the new air filter in, and then now that Matt's here, we will start working on getting back here,
getting the fan shroud out, getting the fan pulled off. And...
Yep. And I finally located those bolts that I was looking for yesterday that I couldn't find. There's 2 up here at the top and 2 down at the bottom. You can't really see them at the top, but it's literally like, I can't even find it with my finger. But I can see from here, but you use a 6-inch extension.
Let's hop 2 and have some fun.
Oh, tons of fun. So much.
Okay. So this is the new filter, which Jarret was thinking would just be this blue centerpiece here, but it looks like it's the whole housing.
Yeah.
So now he's going to have a real clean housing and a really dirty engine bay.
I was sitting here trying to knock this air filter out of this. I was sitting there being like, this is going to be a bitch again. Oh, by the way.
Just to show, like, it's, I mean, the trailer isn't clean, but you have a nice clean trailer, and then where Jarret was beating on it, you got all this, all that nastiness out of the filter.
Also, the plus side about this filter, though, is that it still breathes really well when it gets dirty.
So we're just reassembling the airbox at the moment. This isn't actually going to go back in until whenever the parts come in, whether that's this evening or more than likely tomorrow would be my guess.
We're hoping for this evening.
Hoping for this evening, but we'll see.
Yay!
Step 1 of 362 and a quarter done.
I don't need your negativeness right now.
Just heads up, when you're putting this other half of the casing on, If your friend happens to be, you know, slightly applying pressure to help line it up, don't have your finger tucked in there. I mean, I'm holding his GoPro. That's probably why he hesitated. So this is our water pump. Nice new O-ring, and then the pump itself.
Shiny.
Okay, so we ready to start? I guess what the next step is ripping the fan shroud and the fan off.
Yes, for that I'm gonna need tools.
Yep, and I'll grab these tools.
Ha! It is a 15. Oh, cold plastic.
Kind of see where he's trying to fight it down in there. That's the top left one.
Of course that's broken. So, you see this little eyelet here? So, there is supposed to be like a little hole here in the shroud that you hang it up on that.
But it's broken. Are we surprised at this point? No, kids, we aren't. So, yeah, I guess last person who did this put it back in, bolted the top ones and said forget it.
I really fucking hope they didn't put a 100 millimeter pump in there, because you can do it. You just need to put a new front plate in there.
Oh, Jarrett's gonna be crying if it's...
I'm not gonna be crying. I'm gonna be definitely not gonna be a video that I'm not cursing in.
I don't know if Jarrett went over this yesterday, but our nice like shelving area to stand on.
Why do you constantly have, every time you do that, it moves a little bit?
I know, and it makes it less and less stable for us.
No, that's why I stopped doing that.
Oh, but yeah, just 2 pallets, and I mean, it brings it up knee level.
Well, don't worry. As much as I'm having to work on this truck, I'm actually going to
sell it.
I'm going to make a, like a thing, and it's going to go right there. I can literally just drive it straight into it. So they're made out of wood, and I'll probably put some like rubberized coating on it so it doesn't rot, because I'm going to need to use it a lot.
That's why some people, they get those bumpers that come way out so you can stand on your bumper on the side of the road. We found out this isn't the first time this has been off. And whoever did it before, it looks like they might have used an air chisel, and it blew out the side of the piece that this slips onto. So his bar to remove the fan isn't like slipping on. Okay, so it looks like what's going on is that the nut was not quite set up how it was supposed to be from the factory. So maybe we're hoping they under-tightened, but they probably over-tightened it. So we had to, instead of coming straight in from the top, we had to kind of come over from the side. So now Jarrett is working on getting his handle here.
I don't want to knock that.
I got it.
You got it?
Yeah, I'll put this on for you. So this should go, not in that hole. Should work one more hole over. Be something like right there. There you go. Now if you can hold that. Jarrett's going to hold on that, which should stop the back piece from spinning. And I'm just, oh, fuck. So now it's catching on this little nub here. So I'm going to have to play with it some. If you guys want an update on how the situation's going, we've tried adding an extension to the bar. It didn't work. So now we have a ratchet strap with this over to the headache rack on my truck. And we're hoping this will do it. Took safety into mind. So tried this. It was just pulling up on that. Went ahead and pushed this down further. Put this on here. Makes it a little harder for our clip on the end to slip up. Jarrett's over here trying to currently hammer down the piece that holds it from spinning this way. He's trying to use that to push against this whole setup.
Yeah. Wow, that just came off.
I'm gonna go reset them. So we're at this point not getting anywhere on this. We can ratchet this. We actually have this whole shroud kind of pulled over and pulled up to where we heard it pop. I think it was just this corner down here pushing off and coming around the oil cooler there. However, we're not getting anything. Jarrett or I can put our full weight here. Somebody else takes this ratchet, you know, kind of stretches it up and then pushes it that way, and we're getting nothing. So I don't know why we have a semi up there. This is not the road for him, but Jarrett's calling our favorite diesel shop, Nova Diesel, and he's hoping that they can either maybe give him a pointer. They're probably closed through Christmas. But he's hoping they can either give us a pointer on maybe what to do in this case. I mean, we were thinking, you know, put some WD-40 down there, try to break it loose. Or if they don't have any ideas, can they work him into the schedule in the next couple days? Because This is not a fun situation. And we're just at this point worried about, you know, if we pull this anymore, we're pulling across this, you know, are we going to hurt something here, hurt the oil cooler? Like, there's just a lot of other stuff that we don't want to have to replace because of this. The Etsy truck up there, or SDs, whatever it is, admitted defeat and stopped, so we'll see what happens there.
I'll get back to you as soon as I can.
The fuck, does nobody work today? Oh, hi.
Thanks, Declaration.
Hi, Gary.
Okay, so we've came back to our typical look of defeat as Jarret is buttoning this back up, but it's actually not as bad as it normally is. So you called what, 4 or 5 different diesel shops in the area? 7 different diesel shops in the area, and nobody has any openings until next year.
I called one all the way in Warrenton.
Well, it's currently what, December 23rd? Yeah, and nobody has any openings until January. I went ahead and on a ditch effort called the guy at the bottom of my hill who doesn't install parts that are customer supplied, which is why we hadn't called him before. But he doesn't have any openings till January. Was talking to him just about it, and he was like, hey, just bring it down. I'll be home in about an hour. I'll knock that bolt off for you guys. So big shout out to Joey down there, but we're getting there. I say we're getting there as he's literally undoing previous work, but it's okay. We're getting there. Okay, so we're doing this inside because Jarret's tired, but we took the truck down to the mechanic. He took it off in all of what, 30 seconds?
5 minutes.
5 minutes. The whole time, including talking to him.
50 seconds of work.
Yeah, 50 seconds of work. Okay, I'll go with that. But regardless, Jarret worked last night. It's now 12:30. Jarret works tonight, so he's going to go to bed.
For 24 hours.
Yeah, pretty much. We'll pick this up tomorrow, but...
And hopefully tomorrow all parts should be in.
Should be. But this is just a quick update, and we'll catch up with you guys tomorrow. So here we are the next morning, or actually it's almost noon, but we both worked today. The hope is get this done. We can get the water pump put on, get the fan shroud, the fan put back on. The only thing we're waiting on is that lower hose still. It says it's supposed to come sometime between 12 and 4 today. Hoping it's a little bit on the earlier side because I'd love to get some sleep before work, but I'm not very confident that's going to happen.
I just got 3 hours, and that's some of the best sleep I've had all week.
Yeah, I was out helping my fiance's sister move a toolbox, but Jarret got to come home and get a couple hours of sleep at least. So we'll catch back up with you here in a minute. Okay, so here's what we're looking at. We got that fan and the fan cover out.
It's the big round thing with the holes in it.
Right there.
Yep. So that's the shroud that we got to take off.
That's going to be lovely.
Oh, I think those are... No, it's actually pretty easy. 10 millimeter... Should I fucking say that? Why the fuck would I say that?
It's going to be interesting. It always is. But okay.
10 millimeter bolts, and you keep it easier by loosening them before you take the belt off.
So what we're doing is, once again, we're using this little tool to hold it from spinning. And then Jarret's got the bolt. So I'm just holding this bar, stops the housing, and then Jarret's putting all the pressure on that, trying to get them to pop, and these are on there really good too.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah, that's been the general idea so far. Is we got the top 2 originally, rolled it, so now the ones on the bottom are loose, but we just have to get these top ones done now. Through some persuasion, we went ahead and, yeah, we got those 2 loose now. So he's going to loosen them up a little more, then we'll pull the belt off. Or is he just going to pick them all the way out? Who knows? Okay, so once we had the 4 loose, you take a 1/2-inch drive, and right down here, you just stick it in there and spin that. That brings the tension off of your belt. You pull your belt out of there, and you toss it across the driveway.
Okay, well, somebody tosses it across the driveway. I don't toss it across the driveway.
That's because he doesn't do stuff the proper way. Anyways, next up, taking those 4 bolts that we loosened before all the way out.
I feel like if you did things the proper way, you're the reason why we're in this situation with the fucking fan clutch to begin with.
Why?
I feel like you would have been the technician to do it.
I would be the technician to drop a bolt.
Please don't.
I did. I already dropped the second one. It's not like there's a giant pile of leaves next to us or anything. Got those 3 out. One of them is somewhere over here. So let's go on an adventure and try to find it. At this point, it should be a fairly easy, just take this, wiggle it around, pull it off. However, if you guys look right there, looks like somebody took a punch to it. So it kind of like blew out that side of the ring, so we're having problems getting over that. We eventually overcame it. What I ended up doing was taking a pry bar and kind of scraping on where it was punched to get the worst of the burr off. And then I came back with a screwdriver that's kind of like ridged, and I guess sandpaper or a file would work, and I just kind of scraped it across that spot. Then I got my handy dandy pry bar right behind it, kind of rested on this piece up here so it wasn't hitting anything soft, and just knocked it a couple times, and eventually it fell and rolled somewhere down the hill again.
Are you starting to see like the thing, whenever you pull something off, it drops, rolls down a hill?
But I get the stuff off. Just finishing up, breaking the bolts loose. What, there's 5 of them it looks like? 4 of them. They are the 10mm, and then just a matter of pulling those out and hopefully ripping that pump up out.
Well, no, you don't rip it. What you need is a hammer, and I will show you how you properly pull something out without dropping it on the ground.
You trying to compensate for something?
What?
You trying to compensate for something?
My dick couldn't touch the ground if I tried. I could literally be doing push-ups. No, I'll probably need the hammer. Yeah, hammer. I just... Alright.
Oh, yummy.
Oh yeah, that was definitely it. Look at all that corrosion around the gasket.
Let me get some more wood on it. There you go. Yeah, that's pretty nasty. Okay. Then you just take this and go to wherever you keep your scrap metal. And you just go. Yeah. All done.
So what we need now is I need like a Brillo pad or something. So what you want to get in there and take a good look at the housing that it goes into. You see all the corrosion and stuff around the inside.
So we got the new pump, or the old pump out, cleaned around it because it was all grody. Then you put the new O-ring in, set the new pump into that, go around and tighten up your nuts at that point. Okay, so at this point, water pump's back on, water pipe's tightened.
That's already been there.
It's been there, I know. Jarret's over here fighting with a thermostat bolt on the backside that's right against the fuel rail. Ended up using...
This had to come off, which is the main boot, which hopefully that'll go back together again. Then there is a retaining bolt here, which is this. It's 10mm. So you have to move that so you can get the metal line to even have any little bit of flex in it, which really is none. But you read online, people will be like, yeah, all you have to do is, you know, loosen these bolts, and then you pull the coolant line off. The thermostat will come right with it. No, it doesn't. Because you can't even fucking get to these bolts. At least how tight is that fuel line's on. Yeah, though, with the record of people working on this truck and fucking shit up beforehand, fuel line probably doesn't go there.
Yeah, that's a 13mm he used. He ended up having to come in there with the wrench, crack it a little bit using the hammer on the wrench, and then came back with the deep well extension to get it the rest of the way off. So coming around on that backside nut, the strap was like coming in with an open end and kind of getting it there and moving it at a weird angle. Then you pop this off, which was a total pain. Came to the front, pried the front one off, and then flopped the back off. And that's pretty much what we've got done. And now we got another set of bolts.
I love everything. I'm a happy person. I swear. The fuck am I doing in my life? Got the fucking ratchet and just sitting here.
Let me see. And we're gonna have to do another one of those pain ones on the back, so I'm gonna get started on that.
Oh, fucking idiots.
So,
I swear to fucking God.
We got the front stud off. The back stud, if you look at the clearance between that bolt there and that fuel line, there's absolutely zero. The top of the fuel line's got a weird, has a weird bend in it. So Jarret seems to have gone full, give me the wrench, I'm gonna make it fit. It's kind of a scary situation to be in.
Yeah, I'm gonna undo it from the fuel bowl, and I'm just gonna push it the fuck back out of the way.
There you go. You can use your there it goes. And that should give us the play we need to pull this back. And
better.
Yep, yeah, we have good reach now. So he's gonna come in with the electric blizzy. Haha! To the ever-growing bolt collection. After he launched the thermostat somewhere in that area, I saw it a minute ago. Oh, it's like down there. Let's see. Does he have the whole housing and everything, or is it just the T-stat? Oh, it is the whole housing. Okay. So he doesn't have to go... Oh, dig that out of the leaves. Oh, fancy thing. Vroom, vroom. Vroom. He's going to be very unhappy when that dies. Man, this is supposed to be a quick, couple-hour ordeal, and we're still...
Shut up!
He loves me, I promise. And what's different about your new thermostat?
It wasn't made by Ford. It's a 200-degree
And your
thermostat
stock
over
one
the
is-
stock one that's like it's supposed to be 192, but it always opens early.
Okay. So you're going a little higher temperature, have the engine run a little better.
Just yeah, lines up. Okay, so how you do that is you have an arrow on the hose and that goes towards the notch, and that's how it lines up.
And then just to add more to our plate, we're working on pulling the degas bottle there, and also so replace that as well as the line below it, like Jarret was talking about yesterday, where we had these stress fractures down there.
Being short and fat is no way to live life. Oh, fuck. What the fuck is this shit? The fuck off! I hate everything.
Come up here, you have a clamp that's on the back that runs under the degas bottle, and then you have another one down here where this hose comes up to this little T. What we found was taking the T off would let you kind of pull the whole bottle forward more, and then I could come in from the side while Jarret held it, pop it up and off. You got Jarret over there with the thing. The next one was that hose ran over down here. Just took a set of channel locks, kind of came down and did like reaching up in there in a weird angle. I guess it was closer to like this angle. Pull that up. Once the clamp is off the middle piece, just reach it, pull it out, and throw it in the ground over there. So that's the aluminum degas bottle, degas, the whatever. And that's that new pipe. It comes with a new type of clamp where it's the screw-on one, so we don't have to sit there and fight it. We just have to line it up and screw it
Give
up.
me flathead now slightly. Or you can do it with this.
Got this bottom side put on. Kind of best to like come up from the bottom. My concern at the moment is the tail on this is, it doesn't look it on camera, but I have less than like a finger's width between where the belt's going to be and that. So I'm going to get some tin snips, cut it back a little bit just so we don't shred a belt on that, because that would be unfortunate. Okay, so we just went ahead and slid this on, screwed that down, got the whole pump screwed into the piece, put this stock clamp back on, and when we were doing that, back here it was rubbing, so we went ahead and just by grabbing it here and twisting, pulled it off of the piece it was rubbing on, and then we clamped it down where it's not going to rub way back there in the back, and it doesn't look like it shows up on camera. So now, putting that top pipe back on, and this piece is at least done for the time being. He looks extremely happy.
So enthused. I have got so much love to give the world. Oh, fuck my ass. I'm not in the right position to actually say that. I don't. Luckily,
Jarret didn't want to record for legal reasons, but
If my truck had caught on fire.
if his truck had caught on fire, insurance would have wanted to see the video, and he didn't want to have the video ready. But this was not budging at all. So, like, the end of the tube was right at the edge of this little
Did we have the clamp on
mark.
that?
Yeah. So, what we ended up doing was heating it and pushing it, and now we have the end of the pipe is, where is it? Like right here? Which is more than enough for what we need. Okay, and now I'm just going to tighten that down, and that rewires everything there except for this, which we'll get later on, I guess. Okay, so real quick, we went ahead and put on the studs with this. We had the pipe on it originally. The clamp on the pipe caused this to not clear going around, so we took the pipe back off, put this on, ran the nuts on. That's pretty good. And where are we going to next?
We need to put the line holder back on.
Okay. So go ahead and we'll run that on and figure out what's next. Got the retaining nut in. Put the bottom half of this hose on to make sure everything lines up. Put the clamp on down there. He just wants to have it sitting there to make sure we're good. Next up should be the intercooler pipe.
Yes, it is.
Oh. He's having loads of fun. So am I. We're getting there though. I mean, at this point, it's pretty much putting everything back together. I think we have all the new stuff in. It's just a matter of getting it all back.
Oh, airbox. We got to put that back in.
Well, it's not something.
That's last step. That's last step before coolant flush, which takes 2 hours.
I don't think you're getting. You can do the coolant flush. I take a nap.
Declaration, I'd love to thank you so much for.
Yeah. Pipe on, tighten, make sure that it's on. So what we did was we tightened this most of the way down, then Jarret pushed in on these two pieces to make sure that it's seated all the way. Tightened it down the rest of the way. That one he just pushed back, went ahead and ran it in there real good. Next up is the water pump cover. So that'll be the cover with the 4 bolts
Yep,
that are sitting down here.
So it'll go into these. So what you want to do is, because you're not going to be able to see shit, is you want to try to get it to like 12 o'clock or some position that you know. So when you put the cover on, it's easier to find the head of the holes to thread it into.
Went ahead, slid this on, got them on. Just make sure as you're tightening them, you're going like top, bottom, left, right, or whatever it is, just like crossing over. One thing I did notice is that it was exceedingly hard to actually get them to tighten because it just spin this whole piece. So I just went ahead and used that little holder bar, held it here, and then on my other hand held the ratchet pushed down just to make sure it wouldn't spin out. But at this point we used the little diagram that's down here for the 6.0 right here. And it looks like it's missing a pulley here that the diagram doesn't reflect properly, but we went ahead and threaded the bolt, or threaded the thing. And now we have Jarret trying to tighten up the tensioner. We're bringing back our good old buddy that is covered in something.
We love so much.
But that gave us hell yesterday. The hope is drop it on there, run it on there, and we're good to go. If not, maybe our nice mechanic at the bottom of the road will be willing to help us get this back on. But let's hope it doesn't come to that. So we're gonna just tilt this up, drop it in. Well, we got to get the orientation, everything, drop it in there, and then try to thread this back on. Just to show what the person did when they were messing with it and why we were having a problem with it yesterday getting on in a couple spots. Actually, I guess that's the bad one. There's a little bit here, but that's the bad one where they just jacked it up. And then back here, it's the same thing. Ironically, this is only, what, about 15-20 minutes worth of process. But
Yeah.
we got the fan shroud down in there. The main things we saw was it called in this oil cooler that were relocated. Oh, yeah. We had to pull these out. And I'm going to have to pull those out again. But besides the fact, we had to pull the radiator back. So we took these off. And this, remember, is tucked in the front here. I forgot to put it back in there. And, but what we ended up doing was working it down in here. We caught it on the oil cooler, which is aftermarket to this truck. So if you have a stock truck, that might not get in your way. And then the other thing was it got caught down here on this airbox holder. We went ahead and just ended up kind of forcing it around, dropping it down in there, and calling it a day. But now I'm gonna have to pull these off, route this cable down under it, and then we have the fan shroud that he's got. So after that, I think it's just literally miscellaneous connectors, coolant lines, and then starting the flush, which Okay, so we pulled these back off, pulled this out, dropped the fan shroud in, put these back on, and just because they look a little funky, we went ahead and swapped the two sides. They're the exact same. It doesn't make a difference, but we wanted to go ahead and give that a shot. Because it almost looks like this little raised hump here should sit on this. It most certainly does not. After that, we got this degas to upper radiator hooked up. Jarrett's looking at the oil cooler because that's got a little bit of, oh, it still does, there it goes. Has a little bit of wiggle in it.
I'm gonna leave that until I have a full tool set.
Yep, so that'll be another day, another issue. This one up here, I had to like, the little clamp that, or the little tab that sticks down on the clamp, I had to kind of fold that up some to get the clearance needed.
The Mishimoto put a bigger bump on there.
Yeah, Mishimoto's got like a larger nipple to make it fit and everything, but at this point it's literally just going around and hooking up all our connections. This needs to sit somewhere. I assume that's right over there somehow, over top of the fan shroud. Everything's buttoned back up. We got our clamps on. We ended up having, ooh, look at that. I found one thing that was not buttoned up. This was buttoned up, and then we had to take it off in order to fit the air box back in up under it. So that was a whole ordeal that took us a while. I'll get that off camera, but that's where we're at. Especially with him working and me getting ready to work. But regardless, it's up, it's running, it's not dripping. So he's going to do a little bit of coolant flush on it, get it ready to go. But that's where we're going to leave off this video. So thanks for hopping along with us on this horrible maze.